This is not an opinion. This is a fact. Stephen A. Smith is saying the quiet part out loud. It's not like he's developing talent here. Stephen A. Smith sitting there acting like this is his doing is such bull. Unbelievable what these idiots say and what they get away with saying. Who is the up-and-coming talent? I mean, tell me. Hey, welcome, by the way. This program is brought to you, as always, by our friends at Prize Picks. I don't kind of sort of like Prize Picks. I love Prize Picks. It's just fun. I won again this week. Got the glasses. The eye is doing better. Stephen A. Smith is saying the quiet part out loud. He says he's incredibly proud of how First Take has become a diverse pipeline of talent. Let me ask you a question. Pipeline means they're going other places and doing other things. These people that are on his show, whether it's Orlovsky or Saturday, whoever, are already on ESPN. And what they do is they bring him to his show. He's trying to act like he's some type of mentor. Last person he mentored was Shannon Sharpe. And Shannon Sharpe, I don't know, maybe that wasn't such a good choice. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You know what? He thinks it's become a diverse pipeline. No, here's the deal. ESPN hires folks to do shows, and they bring them over to your show. It's not like guys have gone on to become, you tell me, what? What have they gone on to become this pipeline? See, a college coach's pipeline is head coaches. There's nothing Stephen A. Smith has pipeline. You go to ESPN for a weekend to do shows. They say, hey, we would like to see if you'd be on Mike and Mike in the morning or whatever the morning show is, or First Take or Get Up or whatever. And you're like, yeah, whatever you want, man. You're paying me. It's not like he's developing talent here. I got no problem with any of it either. But the guys on there got to have, they got to have some talent. And you can't be so racist that you don't want Max Kellerman because he's a white guy, allegedly. Man, I got to get, as Stephen A. Smith would say, some brothers around here. So Max Kellerman gone, Shannon Sharpe in, and it didn't work out well for anyone other than Max Kellerman, because he didn't have to sit there and listen to the rantings and the bullshit of Stephen A. Smith, and who would want to? But he's talking about folks like Mina Kimes. He's talking about folks like Ryan Clark. These people weren't hired to be on his show. Stephen A. Smith is awesome because he takes credit for everything, and maybe he should. Maybe he should. It is not Stephen A. Smith. It is the guys in Building 4 that are doing this, but I love it. And as we all know with Stephen A. Smith, it's about checking a box and having simps on there that make him look good. See, Max Kellerman actually thought, and frankly, Chris Russo is on there because, Chris Russo's a legend in New York, and Stephen A. Smith knows that Chris Russo, whether it's national on Sirius XM radio or local in New York, he could crush Stephen A. Smith and make him look really bad. He, in Smith's mind, is bigger and stronger, so this is all bullshit. But that's okay. Here's Stephen A. Smith proud of his pipeline.
It's the staff. From the moment they made me the EP 5 years ago, man, I can't say enough. I have not had one single contributor on the show, including yourself, who hasn't given me a quality work.
Right.
Yeah, know how I roll. Every time anybody that comes on the show, I'll pull everybody aside one-on-one. Here's what I need. Here's what I want for this show. Here's what's going to make it work. And not one single person has disappointed me. Not one.
Right.
Everybody that has come on the show has come through for me. You, Shannon Sharpe, Dan Orlovsky, Swagoo, Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark, Cam Newton being on this year. Mina Kimes, Jeff Saturday, Mad Dog Russo. The list goes on the NBA side with Jay Williams and Kendrick Perkins and Brian Winters, Kimberly Martin on the football side, Monica McNutt, Andrea Carter, and Chanel Gumake on the basketball side. It's like every freaking place I turn, everybody's coming through. The Dominique Foxworths of the world, and the Damian Woodies of the world. And I'm so grateful that people have committed themselves to delivering when we're on the air. And for me, when I came on the show in 2012, Skip Bayless ran the show. Mm-hmm. And no knock against him because he was bringing, diverse people on the show and all of that stuff. But obviously, once I took over, you had permanent folks, and it was an amalgamation of people, black folks, white folks, women, the list goes on. And it was important to me that I have that. And so to look at the show now and to see what opportunities I've been able to assist in other people getting, and to see what it's been able to do for my career, for their careers, that's what it's all about. It's not about, oh, I'm gonna get mine. What about y'all? You know, if you're not doing anything for anybody else, what good are you? You know, Swagoo wasn't always on Monday Night Football. Ryan Clark wasn't on Monday Night Football Countdown. Yeah, Dan Orlovsky wasn't on there. He wasn't always on NFL Live. And all. You see people and the opportunities that they have, and it came through First Take. And so I'm incredibly proud of the kind of impact the show and myself has been able to have positively on the careers of others, because there's nothing I wouldn't do for these people.
No, that's total bullshit. The directive came down after George Floyd and all that kind of stuff, that this is what they were going to do at ESPN. And that's when all of a sudden you saw at ESPN the Kimberly Martins and the people that he's talking about. That's total bullshit by Stephen A. Smith. Complete and utter self-serving, grandiose bullshit. It came from Building 4. They hired the people. They hired them to do specific jobs. Going on First Take had nothing to do with any of these clowns getting on Monday Night Football or anywhere else. Booger McFarland was a guy that had been there for a while, and when George Floyd and that type thing happened with BLM and everybody acquiescing, well, that's what did it. Stephen A. Smith sitting there acting like this is his doing is such bullshit. I love it, though. Look, we always say on our radio show, if you're not promoting yourself, ain't nobody else gonna promote you. But it is complete and utter bullshit. In fact, you can make the argument that this all started with Get Up, Greeny's show, when he got a big panel, and once the George Floyd / all the other stuff hit, he had to all of a sudden have guys on like Jay Will. Well, not Jay Will. Jay Will was there before, got fired, came back. But like the big Swagoo, like Damian Woody, like Kimberly Martin. It's such bullshit that I got to talk about. It's just too funny to me. This had nothing, never had anything to do with Stephen A. Smith, and everything to do with the DEI hiring practices, the criticism they did not want to face, the white guys Building 4 saying, I don't care what you do. I don't care who you get. Get whoever. Get that person, that person, that person. Ryan Clark was there far, far before George Floyd. Ryan Clark was there when I was there going into ESPN, and nothing ever happened for him. DEI, BLM, Summer of Love, riots from idiots. Next thing you know, they hired and they went after it. And good. I'm not mad at it, but just tell your history clearly, because it's such bullshit. And I don't expect anybody to know. I expect 99.9% of media people to go, yeah, that's right. No, it's not even close. Here's some clown bread and clean. In recent years, as ESPN has made significant cuts to its talent roster and pared back its lineup of shows, Smith and First Take have also amassed the mantle of one of the only remaining pipelines for up-and-coming talent at ESPN. Nonsense. Total nonsense. Saturday was there a long time. Jay Will was there way back. Hell, Jay Will was there when I first started at ESPN, whatever year that was, 2010, up and coming. Who is the up-and-coming talent? I mean, tell me. Kimberly Martin was hired when they needed, we need an African-American woman, and she had a good agent. What are you talking about? I mean, stop with who is up and coming? Who is a young, talented person that just got to eat? Windhorse was there before I got there in 10. The people that he were talking about, Chimmy, whatever the hell her name was there way before. What are you talking about? This is all due to George Floyd, ESPN's reaction to BLM, period. Nobody, and I mean nobody with any knowledge of ESPN can tell me I'm wrong, because they wouldn't, except for Smith, who's taking credit. Because ESPN remains the top sports content company in America, this means First Take New York studio is a de facto pipeline for all sports media, really. Cast a wide net of contributors and assembled a strong, diverse cast. This fall, First Take is orbiting through the regular cast of contributors, Clark, Newton, Spears, Orlovsky, Moore. Smith also has demonstrated freedom to go outside the worldwide leader to sign talent, Shannon Sharp, Gilbert Arenas. Man, how about Gilbert Arenas, the snitch, alleged, getting signed? I mean, he just walked in and out of jail in 2 minutes. We need to get Mike Francis back out here. Gilbert Arenas might be the biggest pussy to ever play basketball in the NBA. I mean, when you watch his podcast, it's fun, it's interesting. But when you hear about him bitching, whining, and moaning, and what a little bitch he was, it's astounding. Breeze, I don't know. I think he just signed with Fox. Anyway, he's also welcomed talented commentators, really? Like Peter Schrager, Kimberly Martin, L. Duncan, Brian Windhorst, and Mina. This is a nonsensical ass-kissing article. As I said, Kimes was there for a long time. Windhorst was there longer than anybody. L. Duncan was flopping around trying to make it. And next thing you know, George Floyd happened. So don't give me this bullshit that it's all of a sudden Stephen A. Smith discovered these guys. No. The executives at ESPN told Greeny and told Smith, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. And this is with whom we're doing it. I get a kick. It's why I love working at Outkick. You can tell the truth. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. Man, unbelievable what these idiots say and what they get away with saying and how awful announcing and other liberal rags they literally promote it. It's just stupid. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right and get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40-plus states, including California, Texas, Georgia, where they don't have nothing. Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. One of your players leaves the game in the first half and does not return. Prize Picks will not count that as a loss. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users. Sign up today. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH. Get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DAKICH. Get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. File this under the dumbest athletes ever financially. Even, I think, maybe not, but certainly along with Terry Rozier, that moron that threw games when he was making $26 million and splitting up at least a couple 100,000. Mo and Larry, a.k.a. Cleveland Guardians pitcher Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz have been indicted by prosecutors in Brooklyn on a slew of charges: fraud, conspiracy, bribery. They rigged bets on prop bets on pitches thrown in Major League Baseball games. If convicted, these two idiots, Dumb and Dumber, could get, 65 years in the can. It's a 23-page indictment. This is Passett, the most punchable face in sports, Jeff Passett. The 23-page indictment filed against Clase and Ortiz in the Eastern District of New York lays out the alleged scheme for the pitchers to intentionally throw balls to batters, so bettors could wager on pitches to be balls or strikes. It started, prosecutors say, as early as 23 with Clase, and he, this genius, later included Ortiz. Listen to this. Prosecutors alleged, now you're talking about a guy that could make $38 million in his career in Clase. Listen to this. Ortiz was paid $5,000 for throwing an intentional ball June 15th. Clase was given $5,000 for facilitating it. They did it again. The payment for each on a pitch was $7,000 about a week or two later, 12 days later. Now, it's unbelievable. Un-effing believable. You're going to make $38 million. And you're worried about $5,000. You take a dump for $5,000. That's it. I mean, what are you doing? It is incredibly stupid, but it also shows you the danger of prop betting and who you hang out with. Apparently, these clowns, their buddies, made somewhere close to $400K, which is not chump change, even to a guy making as much as these idiots did. But the truth of the matter is, these idiots should have just said no. Maybe we need Nancy Reagan back out here to just say no. Prop bets. This would be an easy prop bet, seemingly. But my guess is, and I know this isn't a guess, baseball, probably more than any sport, analytically looks at everything, every pitch, every at-bat, every ball, every strike, And all of a sudden, you're seeing a slide piece, and I've seen this a few times by Clase, go about halfway to the mound, and all you got to do, something would register that says, wait a second, got a lot of money bet on that first pitch. What kind of pitch was that? It's going to be fascinating. I wouldn't anticipate these two to get 65 years. I don't think we're going to see that. But this does illustrate the danger of prop bets. I don't know if anybody saw this, but over the weekend, this is one of the most underreported stories in sports along with this. 6 basketball players, Division I basketball players, have been permanently banned from the sport over the weekend. 3 idiots from University of New Orleans that literally fixed games, including one guy, Daquavian Short, who in the middle of a timeout late in the game, told one of his teammates, also indicted, hey, man, don't score any more points. I don't need any more points. So those 3 are going to face charges. And there was a kid at Mississippi Valley State. They had 2 guys that threw games. And then there was one kid at Arizona State. What is it with Arizona State? Arizona State had a headache or pancake or whatever his name is, Smith fixing games back in the 90s. Arizona State's got a guy. Now, this is a little different. He was providing information to a former teammate for fantasy basketball betting. Yeah, I'll tell you this. The fantasy basketball one, whatever. The fixing games, particularly some idiot in the middle of a game, whoa, telling a teammate don't do it. It's all this big bubble to me. 2 Major League Baseball pitchers, couple professional basketball player, 1 professional basketball player, actually 2, Jonte Porter and Rozier, and a sitting head coach. This is widespread. This is. Now, the one difference, we're talking about prop bets with Porter, prop bets with Rozier, prop bets with these pitchers. We're talking about actually fixing games, keeping the spread in play either by not winning by enough or losing by just enough. No, it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. None of the 6 players in Division I men's college basketball are with current teams now, and they shouldn't be. I mean, imagine this. Look, betting, I'm all for it. But I also say this. I will say this. We're all up in the arms about this, right? We're all pissed off about this. We're all pissed off about, oh, man, can you believe these players are doing this? Why aren't we pissed off even a little bit? Why aren't we looking at even a little bit into Nancy Pelosi somehow, some way, making over 16,000% on stock trades? I mean, can anybody tell me? Nancy Pelosi saw a return of damn near 17,000, not 17%, 17,000% on her investments. She made $133 million. So they can just trade stocks. They can do insider trading. They can get, and nothing goes on. Nothing happens. But a baseball player throws one in the dirt and we're all going to get shot in the ass about it. Doesn't seem right to me. In fact, I would say it's inherently wrong. If we're going to allow one, we should allow the other. Now, you can tell me, what is sports and competition? The other is integrity. The other is the integrity of our government to do things right, not to do things for whom we are given tips on and make money off of and then give favors. I mean, what's the reason for giving some crazy-ass congresswoman a stock tip unless you want something in return? No, this is utter insanity. 17,000% return, hundreds of millions of dollars. And we're worried about some baseball player throwing a slider into the dirt for a couple grand. It just doesn't seem right. I would give you an answer. Prosecute both. Prosecute both equally to the full extent of the law. If you can prove that Nancy Pelosi violated the law, prosecute the hell out of her, and I promise you, you can. Nobody, and I mean this in all sincerity, ever make 17,000% over a lifetime on stock trades. Ever. But she did. That ain't right. It just is not right. If you're going to do one, let's do the other. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't that long ago that the new Democratic marching orders were, say it with me, nobody is above the law. Okay. Hey, you enjoying the show? Of course you are. Make sure you head on over to youtube.com/@sign. Don't at me with Dan Dakich to like, comment, and subscribe. That way, you'll never miss any of our fantastic content. It's there all day. We give a lot of good stuff, too. There's polls on there. We're going to do another Wednesday night chat session. It's good stuff. What are you talking about? Get over there. This is a story that, unfortunately, is now very public and very common. The father of Bears wide receiver Rome Odunze, well, he went off. And now Rome Odunze, the player, has to distance himself from his father's comments on social media. His father, James Odunze, called for the Chicago Bears, Rome's employer, to trade his son to someone that's going to throw him the ball. All right. He had another bunch of complaints, too, that we will get into. Sean Newman, awful announcing, James Odunze spent Monday retweeting posts demanding the Bears trade his son to a team that would actually throw to him. He also retweeted another calling for Rome to get at least 10 targets per game and shared praise for Marvin Harrison Sr., who went after the Cardinals offense last week for underutilizing his son. All right. The Bears responded to James Odunze with a video titled Selfless that shows Rome mic'd up throughout the game, spending 2+ minutes throwing blocks downfield while his teammates racked up 576 yards. But that don't pay Daddy. And Daddy wants the ball. Just give me the damn ball, Daddy. This is so stupid these parents do this. I had a Division I son that was playing a lot. Played about 25 minutes for a 15-3 Big Ten team. I didn't say shit. Why would I? What, am I, an idiot? James Odunze. Rome, however, great dude. Yeah, I don't make a big deal out of it, Rome said. Obviously, he has his opinions. I have mine. He feels like he needs to voice those things on social media. That's his prerogative, but he speaks for himself. I speak for myself. Just trying to do my job within this organization as a leader, as a person, as an individual, and then as a football player. So trying to excel at a Hall of Fame level in those aspects. Now, James Odunze, of course, this isn't his first time being an idiot. In Rome's rookie season, he publicly responded to Dan Orlovsky after the analyst questioned his son's ability to create separation, sharing game footage that showed Rome getting open. Man, I got to tell you, speaking of Orlovsky, man, oh man, he put out early before the season started a list of all these great quarterbacks. Grant Nussmeier. I mean, it's like, wow. I don't know. I mean, any good? None of these quarterbacks are any good. No, it's kind of interesting to me. You put all these quarterbacks out and you tell me this is going to be a great draft, and none of them of these college quarterbacks are worth a damn. In fact, that Langway kid, well, he got his backside benched. He was supposed to be the next big thing. He got benched. Guys are getting benched left and right. I mentioned Nussmeier. He got benched. Damn. I mean, what are we doing? I don't see any great quarterbacks. Arch Manning on that list, the kid up there in Oregon. What? No. I mean, these guys never get called out. They just keep going and going and going. But, man, Orlovsky, what are you doing? So I don't blame a daddy for going at Orlovsky. Hey, welcome back, the great Armando Salguero. You know him, you love him. Outkick senior NFL writer at Armando, Salguero. On Twitter, give him a follow. I didn't like this. I don't mind you booing the president, but I don't like fans booing Armando in D.C. during the military enlistment ceremony. That didn't seem right to me. Give me your thoughts. Am I wrong? You can tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. And look, it's fine to boo the president if that's how you feel. It's a free country, last I heard. And thanks to Donald Trump, in part, it's still a free country. So if you don't like Donald Trump, you go ahead and boo Donald Trump. But there are certain times when you need to stop being triggered and understand the moment. Read the room. Yesterday at halftime of the Commanders game, in which they got throttled by the Detroit Lions, The Commanders were holding a Veterans Day celebration, and that celebration included the enlistment ceremony for all members of the 6 military branches. And those kids were on the field, and they were sworn in by Donald Trump. And during that swearing in ceremony, there was boos throughout. There was cheers too, but there was mostly boos. And my point is this: if any of those kids who are the best of us, they are the best of the best, they are about to serve you. And if you are making it possible that they might believe that you were booing them, you are a disgusting human being. Period. That is not the time to get in your emotions and your feels and let everyone know how you feel about politics. That is the time to uplift those kids who are about to go into service in the military branches for the United States of America.
That's really well said. I think perfect. I'm going to move on from there because I couldn't say it better, and there's nothing to follow up on because what you just said was strong, concise, complete, and thank you for that. Paul Tagliabue passed away at 84 years old. How will he be remembered?
So he is a giant in the industry. He was a mentor to Roger Goodell. He was a mentor to Adam Silver of the NBA and other later in life and other league commissioners. So they looked to him as a guiding light. He was the guy. His shining moment was during 9/11. After that was on a Tuesday. The next morning, the NFL announced it wasn't playing games the following weekend. And Roger Goodell said, Paul Tagliabue famously said, sports definitely is going to bring us together amid all of this, but not just yet. Now is not the time for this. It's for something else. And he allowed space for mourning. It would have looked terrible if days after 9/11, which was a very somber, very obviously very catastrophic day in the history of America, for, its most popular sports league to play games and have people cheering in stadiums around the country. So he gave it space. That was the absolute right call. In his 17 years, there was never a work stoppage. Television started paying more money for the sport, and the sport grew. He did great. His one obvious fallacy and flaw, which he later regretted, was the concussion issue, where he was asked in 1994 famously, what is the NFL going to do about concussions? And his answer was, concussions, that's a media invented issue. Oof. It wasn't a media invented issue. And years later, the NFL lost a $976 million lawsuit against people who knew that it wasn't media fabricated because they had concussions and they were suffering from Alzheimer's at early ages in their 50s and struggling with all sorts of dementia and so forth. So that was his one setback. But overall, a giant in the industry.
Let's go on the field. Man, things change so quick in the NFL. Your Miami Dolphins beat the dog out of the Buffalo Bills. And now it's kind of interesting. And I'm curious your thoughts on this. I'm looking at even, Outkick's website, other websites. People are, you got to get rid. Mike Tomlin is a pillar of mediocrity. Sean McDermott's never going to get it done. I mean, those are two pretty successful coaches here, Armando. What do you make of what happened yesterday with those two?
I wish the Pittsburgh Steelers would fire Mike Tomlin, because 5 minutes later somebody would hire him.
Right.
And he'd be done with the Mike Tomlin's mediocre. Blah, blah, blah. That's what they said about Andy Reid when he struggled at the end in Philadelphia. How'd that go? He was hired 5 minutes later by the Kansas City Chiefs. Mike Tomlin is a great head football coach. And it's as simple as that. Sean McDermott right now has a team that seemed disinterested yesterday, and worse, when a team that isn't uber talented on the outside and the playmakers and so forth shows up to a game against a team that's desperate and is fighting for its life and is sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they don't show interest. The Bills don't. They get manhandled and they get clobbered, and that's what happened yesterday. And that game and what's coming up for Mike McDaniel, that could be a job saver for him, because that's his assignment. Win and you're in, basically, for 2026. And he just beat the division, favorite Buffalo Bills. And I know that they might not be the favorite anymore. The New England Patriots might be. But he just beat the Buffalo Bills. They're playing the reeling Washington Commanders. I almost said Redskins. And after that, they're playing the Jets and New Orleans. Both of them who have worse record than the Dolphins right now. So we could be sitting here almost a month from now with the Dolphins in the hunt for the playoffs, and Mike McDaniel going, woohoo! I'm employed in 2026.
That would be a major upset. That's back from the dead. Speaking of back from the dead, don't look now, but here come the Ravens, big boy. Here come the Ravens, and here come the Bears.
Yeah, the Ravens, that was kind of predictable. I think everybody said, yeah, the Steelers are in first place, but the Ravens are going to win the division. And they had 2 wins or something like that and 5 losses. So obviously, yesterday they beat the dickens out of the Vikings. Now they're 4-5, and Lamar Jackson is back, and the defense is fixed, and John Harbaugh is doing John Harbaugh things. They're fine. They're going to be fine as long as, they remain healthy. As for the Chicago Bears, man, Ben Johnson's got that team believing. He's got them, fired up. I think they've won 4 or 5 in a row. And more importantly than anything, I think Caleb Williams is starting to come into his own. They were 10 down yesterday with less than 4 minutes to play, and they pulled it out. That is a grow-up moment for a very young team, and they had that yesterday.
Yeah, people are, who are they playing? I don't care who you're playing. You've won 6 of 7, the Bears have. And I feel like the Bears have won 6 of 7 quietly. I feel like everybody loses their mind on Caleb Williams when it doesn't go well. But he's had a pretty good year, and he's getting better, it seems. Hey, Jonathan Taylor, a legit candidate for MVP?
Why aren't you asking me about Daniel Jones? Why aren't you asking me about him?
I would. I will. He was great. He was great third and fourth quarter and overtime. Not good. Daniel Jones was great when he needed to be yesterday. Third and fourth quarter and overtime, he was not good. I've watched that 3 times. He was great with terrible. First half, he was terrible. Third and fourth quarter and overtime, the dime he threw to Warren, the run he made on 3rd and 21, came back with a bloody face, hit Warren perfectly. Dude was great third, fourth, and overtime. Not even – I'll ask you about Jones, but you guys in the NFL media, you guys are some interesting cats with who you like and who you don't like. But so I know everybody likes Jonathan Taylor, so go ahead.
Well, you know that I would say to you, descriptions are fleeting. Who was the best running back in the NFL last year? It was Saquon Barkley, right?
Saquon Barkley, yeah. Barkley, yeah.
2,000 yards. So he was the best running back in the NFL. That is not a forever title. And so you've got a new season. It's time to retitle. It's like a car that you just sold. It's retitled. And the best running back in the NFL right now is, Jonathan Taylor. And he proved it yesterday. 83-yard run, 244 yards, 7.9 rushing average. He's over 1,000 yards for the season. Yeah, he's good. And there's nobody better right now. Now, Jonathan Taylor needs to understand that the title could be retitled at any moment. So he has to keep plugging away because he is, as Reggie Jackson once said, he is the
straw that stirs the drink.
Yes, the straw that stirs the drink. And he definitely is that, because your boy, Daniel Jones, he's up and down.
Yeah, so's every quarterback. I mean, I watched Mahomes go 13 to 28. I mean, but I get it. You guys in the NFL media, and I said this all year long, you can't wait. Like one Daniel Jones bad game. Oh, he's terrible. First half, oh, he's terrible. Oh, he's damn good late. Damn good late. I get it, though. I get it. It's the whole who we like, that kind of thing. But Jonathan Taylor's a likable dude. Can he be the MVP? Does it matter to be the running back of the year as an MVP vote? Is he in there?
If in there is he's won it, no, he hasn't won it because
but is he in there?
Is he in the conversation? 100%.
Yeah.
And he deserves to be, along with Matthew Stafford and others. And by the way, the Daniel Jones thing is not one game and you're off the bus. The Daniel Jones thing is he has a history, Dan. That's 5 years worth of history.
I know.
And so
I know
what we're seeing.
It's like, I'll give you this to you. I'll give this to you. Greatest quote I ever heard. And it was Saturday when some little reporter for Fox asked Curt Cignetti, Indiana has a history. They always lose here at Penn State. And Cignetti said, yeah, this team hasn't played here. So leave me alone. Daniel Jones, 5 years, whatever. I'm just saying, it was one bad game. And everybody gone.
Daniel Jones has played here. You can't use that with Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones' history
not
belongs
with this team.
To Daniel Jones. And so
not with this team.
He sucks. That's his history. That's been his history for 5 years. So, in New York, the last 2 seasons or so.
I get it.
Oh my God. And the first season, oof. It was, I know,
I don't know. I'm just watching what I'm watching.
Waiting for you to get home so that you guys can have lunch. I get that. I totally get it.
No, I'm at my house. I'm sitting in my basement. I just get a kick out of the NFL media. I get a kick out of it. I do. It's funny to me. It's no different than any other media, but it's funny to me. It's like, you're not in our club, player, so you can't be any good. I'm watching going, damn, these guys are criticizing Daniel Jones after that game. Anybody actually watch? I mean,
he had 3 fumbles, man. He fumbled 3 times.
I know. First half, as I said, horrible. Sacked 7 times. He's the only guy that when he gets sacked, it's on him. When Mahomes gets sacked, oh, look how great he is. When the Bills are down 20 to nothing.
Super Bowls. Mahomes
not this year.
Has won 3 Super Bowls.
Not
Daniel
this.
Jones has
not
won
this year.
3 French fries.
Not this year.
On
he
his
has
way out McDonald's.
I just go by what you do now. I get what he's done. Like I said, Josh Allen hadn't. Drake May hadn't. And Drake May's did you know Drake May is the favorite, according to DraftKings, to be the MVP? Are you buying that one?
No. I mean, he's doing great. He's building a reputation, and he's doing awesome. But again, and I know things you're railing about the media, there is an East Coast bias. And Matthew Stafford plays on the West Coast, and he leads the league in touchdown passes. And the Rams are balling, and he leads the league in passing yards, and the Rams are winning. And he is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And his team, it's like we forget about him. He's good. He's been good. Did we? And now we're anointing Drake May?
Correction. Daniel Jones. Correction. Daniel Jones leads the NFL in passing yards. But okay. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this.
Correction.
Right now, today, I give you a first-round pick. Are you picking Daniel Jones or Matthew Stafford?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say Stafford, but I don't know how many years he has left.
Okay.
Look, all I know is this. This is all I know. Colts have been very mediocre. They've had really good years out of Jonathan Taylor. They've still been mediocre, 8-9. In fact, coming into the year, this is a true story, Armando. This was interesting to me. The Colts, I bet them. I told everybody I bet $5,000. Never bet a $5,000 bet in my life. I bet $5,000, which I won yesterday. Colts over 7.5. This is how this and 7.5 wins because they always win 8, no matter if it's Richardson. It was minus 110 when Jones became the quarterback. They thought so little of him, it went to plus 110, which means they became an underdog because Jones was no good. As I watched the Colts, and it's the only team I watch. I watched the game 3 times already because I'm gonna do an afternoon show where it's all Colts. This is the same team with the same players, except Daniel Jones has just made them way better. And Warren has helped, and Warren's been good. He can get open. But other than that, it's the same team. And he's doing things at the line of scrimmage that are fascinating. And I don't even know what that is, but I know they didn't have that out of others. That's the only thing I'm saying. I think he's been terrific, and I'm going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt because, frankly, I only paid attention to him when he was on TV, not every day like I am now. That's what I would say. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. You're not giving Lou Anarumo his flowers for making that defense great again.
I think it's better. I think it's better, but boy, did they get ran over, and this is frustrating for Colts fans. They got ran over when they needed a stop. He went back to that freaking high school defense of Gus Bradley. And man, oh man, a bad team with a bad quarterback went right down the field and kicked their ass to take the lead. And then Jones did, after getting sacked, he did what he does. He brought them back and they won. But that defense was fine, good, without Buckner, really good. But man, when they needed a stop, that last possession, that was embarrassing. And again, that's what they've been over the years, same exact thing. But I'll give Emma, and I love the owner. She fired Jimmy Irsay's enabler, Jeffrey Gordon, and fired one of the biggest idiots in football in Morocco Brown. First day she had the job. I'll give everybody credit, but that quarterback's making a huge difference on the best record in the league. Anyway, there you go. How about that That's a good conversation on football right there.
Yes, they got run over because DeForest Buckner wasn't there. But, hey, whatever.
I mean, there's always an excuse. One thing I learned in coaching,
that's a reason.
They were great, and then all of a sudden, they held him, and then all of a sudden, DeForest Buckner wasn't there for the last possession. He wasn't there for the whole game either. When they held him to whatever.
Yesterday. He's on injured reserve.
No, he was out. He was out for the entire game. Yeah. But when the last play, last drive, all of a sudden, Buckner wasn't there. Okay. All right. I mean, like I said, Amaretto, or we call him Amaretto Stone Sour, he's on the right side of the media. I don't understand it. He got fired, had a terrible defense, but he's on the right side. I get it. So's our guy,
what do you
Ballard.
want?
I know. He's waiting on the couch back home.
He's my friend.
I know.
I'm gonna always be ride or die with Lou.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And he's on your damn couch. Don't project Daniel Jones on my couch. Lou's on your couch, damn it.
That is true. I know that.
When you come home, you start yelling, Lou.
So let me understand this. So Daniel Jones was great because he sucked in the first half, but he was good in the third and fourth quarter. The defense was terrible because they didn't have DeForest Buckner all game.
That's not what I said. I said the defense was good. And then the last possession. Look, I learned this from Tom Moore. I had a chance to sit down with Tom Moore, the legendary coach. And he said, I don't give a damn first half. He says, you watch football, it's players, not plays. It's who can play late in games. First half, shit. And I'll never forget. He goes, shit, everybody got a scouting report. You make mistakes like a guy that could hit at 3 o'clock. Or a guy that can make threes in a basketball game in the first half. What are you doing? NFL games, two good teams, two teams battling. Usually comes down who's going to play well in the second half. So that's Tom Moore and Tony Dungy actually telling me that. And that's what I've always bought into in the NFL. Because so many guys, we call them 3 o'clock hitters. So many guys are 3 o'clock hitters. The game starts at 7. The real game starts at about 8:30. And that's what I've always looked at. And frankly, that's always been the Colts' problem post Peyton Manning / Andrew Luck. That's been their problem late. He's kind of solved it. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to argue with Tom Moore and Tony Dungy.
No, it was pretty insightful, actually. It really was. And actually, I sat with Belichick and Coach Knight and Parcells, and they said the same thing. Team you play in the first half ain't the team. I'll never forget. Team you played in the first half ain't the team you're playing in the second half, and you better be a better team in the second half because that's when NFL games are won and lost. Parcells said that while on a Schwinn Aerodyne smoking a cigarette. So that's how I've always looked at it, which is an amazing video. Armando, I love you long time.
I love you long time back.
Go tell Lou I'll make some pasta. He's Italian, right? Isn't he Italian?
Yes, I got to go cook for Lou now. I got to go cook for Lou.
And I got to go do Daniel Jones's hair. I'm gonna get it pulled back here at our sweet see you.
Good.
There he goes, Armando. We'll be right back. All right, it's Monday. You know what that means? Stock up, stock down. Oh, man. In the history of Indiana University sports, Omar Cooper's catch to win the game in the back of the end zone on Saturday at Penn State, I think, is a top 3 play in the history of Indiana sports ever. Now, let me go through. I don't think anything beats Keith Smart's jump shot to win a national championship 100 years ago in 1987. I really don't. A jump shot, and it goes in. Basically, game's over. Indiana wins the national championship. Keith Smart's the hero. Syracuse loses. I think that's number 1. But you could put this. You know, Christian Watford hit what they called the Watt shot, which was the greatest celebration in Indiana basketball history on court. But that really was a meaningless game. It signified Indiana coming back. But damn, this was not a meaningless play. And to think about what Omar Cooper did, toe tapping, back of the end zone, referee, defender, freaking goalpost, man, I got to tell you, that was the singularly most amazing play I have ever seen in my time, which is going back to 1973, watching Indiana football and Indiana basketball. That was unbelievable. And the kid making that play, Cooper, fantastic. Man, Jonathan Taylor's stock up. The 83-yard touchdown run was kind of interesting. He went in the middle of the pile, and a lot of guys would just put their heads down and go. He kept his head up and popped it outside. And then what was even more amazing, he just outran everybody. Like, he just turned the corner and outran the entire freaking defense of the Falcons. Stunning. Good for Sydney Sweeney. Stock up. She should. What does she have to apologize to? She won't apologize for her Great Jeans American Eagle ad while being prompted to by a woke interview. What's your problem, lady? You don't like it? Tough? I got great Genes and great Jeans, courtesy of American Eagle. Some woke reporter doesn't like it. Never give in. There's no reason to ever give in, particularly if you're on the kind of heater that Sydney Sweeney is right now. Screw that. That's nonsense. Hey, stock down. You know, I happened to watch the first SEC documentary, and I really like this kid, DJ Langway. But I'll tell you something that I saw about DJ Langway. He had an overinflated sense of himself, and I'm not sure how to define that. It was like a kid named Tamar Bates came to Indiana a few years ago. Ended up being a good player at Missouri, and I said, this isn't going to work out. Well, I didn't feel that way about Langway because, frankly, I don't know as much about the intricacies of a football locker room as I do a basketball one, but he's been benched at Florida. And Garrett Nussmeier, who I thought was terrific last year at different times, he's been injured. He got benched. That's two of the guys that people were saying, wow, this draft class in 2027 is going to be sensational. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I really don't know. Those two guys were terrible. Their teams, terrible. Their coaches, fired. See, great players are supposed to get coaches extended, not fired. And both of these guys came in as great. Big time NIL money, particularly for Langway. Guess what? They both got high-profile coaches axed in the middle of the season. Hey, liberals are absolutely losing their mind, and I love this. Donald Trump, it's being reported, would like the stadium, the new Commander Stadium, named after him. Really? I don't know how that report comes out. Maybe it's like this, like most things in the modern liberal media. Hey, President Trump, would you like the stadium named after you? Yeah, hell yeah, why not? And then mows along. Then it becomes a thing where liberals have to lose their minds. No, it's pretty funny. Stock down. I'm going to give it to you. I hate to do it, but the Pacers are banged up, man. They've lost 3/5 of their starting lineup. One of them is back. They've lost Neesmith. They've lost freaking their center last year. They lost Jackson. They've lost Nembhard, although he's back. Their six-man McConnell, TJ McConnell. They've lost everything, and they can't get a win. In fact, they lost to the Brooklyn Nets. That's the only loss. Brooklyn is coming in with one win that really pissed me off. Pascal Siakam, I said this the other day. If Pascal Siakam can lead this team to 25 wins, he should be the most valuable player in the NBA. That's how banged up they are. Hopefully they get healthy. Woke-a-dope me, would ya? Woke-a-dope. Oh, man, this dude here. This dude's out of his mind. Madami announced his plan to blame racism for all after his policies fail. That's from the Babylon Bee. But as we know, the Babylon Bee keeps it kind of close to the truth. You know that's going to happen. Right, we're not ready for a female president, they said about Kamala Harris. No, we weren't ready for an idiot. My policies are failing because of racism. No, New Yorkers woke up and they don't want to pay for everything for others to have that aren't working free. Next! That's really funny. 0 cents. Man, did I lose? That is one of the great, sad pictures of all time. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the President of the United States. That people are still mad that you and I did not support enough for him to run for a second term, and then when they replaced him with a bigger clown, or as big a clown, just in a different way, people are mad we did not vote for her. Insanity. Like people say, well, you're a pig because you voted for Donald Trump. I said, give me the options. A thief or a moron? Take your pick on which is which. Next. Stay away from liberals. They act like they're the victims from the problems they created. Yeah, I'm hearing now that Obamacare was a Republican thing. That's coming out of liberal legislators' mouth. It's amazing. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. It gives me a headache. The gaslighting is unbelievable. The gaslighting is stupid. It's got to stop. Or, well, the way to stop it is to simply call it out wherever you can. But man, oh man, you always got a place at MSNBC. The Morning Joe and others were in a panic this morning because the government's going to reopen. People are going to get their benefits. Military's going to get paid. And they had a bunch of libtards on there that are like, oh, my God, this is a horrible day, says Charles Schumer. Horrible day. People get paid. Well, he's made millions. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.